miss the 2014 Missouri Valley Conference Women's Basketball Tournament at the Family Arena in St. Charles, Missouri. Show your school spirit and get your tickets now. Don't miss the 2014 Missouri Valley Conference.
Key notes on procedurals today. After Wichita State is finished here on the dais, these three student athletes and Coach Greg Marshall will be ushered to the CBS workroom, so they will not be available in their locker room when they leave this dais. So if you need quotes from them, get them here, and because they won't be available for a little while afterwards. Ron Baker and the rest of the team will be in the locker room during this proceedings and right afterwards. Reminder, first question to each new dais, name and affiliation would be appreciated. Cell phones are turned off already. Thank you for that in advance. If you need to get into the question rotation, our mic holders are on either side. Get my attention or theirs, and things will go pretty smooth as usual. Game notes, this marks the 25th time the #1 seed has advanced to the championship of the MVC tourney, including 7 of the last 8 years. This has also marked the 3rd year in a row a semifinal game has resulted in a winning margin of 20 or more points. Shockers were actually close to setting a mark on the largest semifinal margin, which was 28, but they fell a little short of that in the end. Creighton over Evansville, 99-71 in 2012 was the largest semifinal margin. Shockers become the 3rd team in NCAA history to start the season at 33-0, joining UNLV 34-0 in 90-91, and they own Missouri Valley Conference's own Indiana State 33-0 in 78-79, leading them to the championship game in Salt Lake City against Michigan State. Shockers have advanced to the championship game for the 6th time since this tournament started in 1977. 1981, 85, 87, 2010, and 13. Are there other previous appearances in the title game? #1 seeded Shockers are here. They have a date in the championship game tomorrow. We're going to ask Greg Marshall, per custom, to open up with a statement on this game, and then we'll go to questions for just the 3 student athletes for an 8-minute spot. Greg, please.
Okay, we're pleased to be moving into the championship game, and I thought we shared the ball very, very well. We were slow getting started offensively, but we loosened that up and finally hit a couple shots. Clee was tremendous tonight. Kale's really shooting the ball well, and we're sharing it. We had 14 assists on 25 baskets, and the defense was certainly there as well. So we knew this team could give us fits if we didn't play well, and we played well enough, so we're pleased. Thanks.
Right here, start with Bob, and then number 2 is on this aisle here.
For Takale and Clee Anthony and Fred, if you want to chip in too. But how much did the three-point shooting kind of loosen their defense a little bit? You guys really went on a barrage there in the first half.
Akil and Clee Anthony in that order, please.
Can you repeat that?
How much, your three-point shooting, how much did that loosen up their defense?
I think it loosened it up a lot, and I mean, of course, Clee had a very high hand, and I just felt like every time he rolls up, it was just gonna go in, and I mean, you gotta go out there and guard that, so it just loosens everything up.
Pretty much exactly what he said, and if you make a lot of three-point shots, that forces the defense out to guard you, so kind of gave us a little bit more room to work inside, and they were trying to be physical inside, so luckily we got some shots to drop.
Clancy, but last year you had you were sick or off games or whatever, but it wasn't a great experience for you either way. How much does this, just making things settle down a little better for your stomach and your mindset?
I think I use everything as motivation, and the fact that I didn't do too good last year just gives me a little bit more energy and a little bit more motivation to come out and do things the right way.
I know the coach's slogan is play angry, but you guys didn't look like you were angry at all today. You looked like you were having a real good time.
I think it's mixed emotions, you know? We go out there, we're a little bit angry because that's our motto, but at the same time, you just got to enjoy yourself and have fun, and I think that's what we do.
On the right side, gentlemen.
Fred, you guys played with an extremely high tempo from the opening tip-off. Why was that critical against Missouri State today?
Well, they're a team that wants to pack it in, and play in the gaps and be very help conscious. And they're pretty solid defensively in the half court when it's 5-on-5. So we wanted to take advantage of transition, and they crashed the offensive glass really hard. So when we did get the defensive rebounds, we wanted to push the tempo and speed the game up. And I think we're at our best when we're in the open court, playing, sharing the ball, and knocking down shots. And so that was key for us today.
Left-hand side, gentlemen.
Pat Forty from Yahoo Sports, for whichever you guys would like to answer. There's a lot of goals and aspirations in play for you all, but the fact that you haven't won a conference tournament and the school hasn't won one in a long time, how motivating is that this weekend?
Akil, please.
It's just we just take games one game at a time, and this is just another box that we got to check. And I mean, we're all competitive on this team, so that's a box that that's the goal, to check that box.
Right-hand side.
R.B. Falstrom, Associated Press. This for all 3 of the players. Was this your best game of the season, and is there any pressure about being undefeated?
Fred, we'll start with you and go that way.
I don't know about best game. I think we had a really good defensive effort. I remember coming out at the under-12 media, and they only had 23 points. So we were clicking on defense, and we were knocking down shots. But playing 30 games, I can't remember which one was our best game. But if you think so, then okay. I just was impressed with our defensive effort and our focus from the tip-off. And when these guys are hot like that and knocking down shots, it makes the whole game easier.
Hey, Anthony, best game?
Oh yeah, I don't remember our best game, and I don't really look back on trying to remember our best game, but I guess we were pretty good, and I guess that's on you guys,
Oh, straight back there, left-hand side.
Mike Reeves with AP Radio. Fellas, are you, for all 3 of you, have you been able to really thoroughly enjoy what it is that you've been able to accomplish to this point, or because the goals are still so out there in some ways. Where are you in terms of how much fun you've been able to have throughout this entire stretch?
Shaquille and then Fred.
I think when you see us out there on the court, you can see how much fun we have every game. Like he said, like our motto is to play angry, but at the same time, we're out there on the court smiling and we have fun with each other because our chemistry is so well. So that's basically it.
Fred, having fun?
I don't know about exactly celebrating what we've accomplished, so to speak, is sitting back and thinking about how great we are. We don't really blow our heads up like that, but we have fun throughout the process. And if you watched the game today, you saw that, everybody's happy, everybody's enjoying, other guys doing well, and that just speaks to the chemistry and the group and the program that we have. So we're definitely having fun throughout the process. It's not stressful or anything like that, but as far as celebrating and thinking about how great we could be or how great we are, we don't really focus on that.
Next question's right here and now, right behind you.
Fred, Anthony's really, particularly on the road, he's pretty much balanced around, but he actually scores a little more on the road. Is he just really seems to increase his game when he's away and when the circumstances get a little tougher?
Who's that?
Does Anthony's game pick it up when it gets a little tougher away from home?
Well, I think he's always focused, anyway, but definitely when opposing teams are talking trash and, getting them hyped up, they give him a little bit extra chip on the shoulder. And he takes a lot of onus on himself and responsibility to get us going. So maybe that's different than on the road. Obviously, we're playing in front of our home crowd, but whatever he's doing, if that's the case, I want to keep doing it.
Brian.
Brian Burwell, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. You all were talking about checking off boxes. What does it mean now to realize that you're 33-0, only Larry Bird's Indiana State and UNLV have done that? What does that mean for you guys?
Shaquille and Anthony in that order, please.
Like Fred always says, when we get older, we'll be able to look at the 33-0 part, but right now we're 2-0, and we're just trying to focus on this tournament and this championship that we have.
Yeah, like Takeo said, I'm pretty sure one day we'll be able to look back at it, but for right now, we enjoy it, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to celebrate a little later. We're not trying to celebrate right now. We're trying to handle business.
Right-hand side.
Brendan Weesey, KFNS Radio, St. Louis. Anthony, has it become sort of a mental grind for you guys when you get to this point where you're playing consecutive games and consecutive days, 3 in a row, when you also think about what you guys are trying to accomplish as well?
I think the whole process is a mental grind, just trying to stay focused on the task at hand. And I think these guys do a great job of coming out and trying to get it done one day at a time and one game at a time. And that's just been the motto and our philosophy, and that's how we go about our business.
Stay over there on the right.
Eric Nacton, KSN. Anthony, obviously it's all about the wins, but what does it mean to you to be a John Wooden Award finalist to you and this team?
Feels really good. At the same time, I know I wouldn't be in this position without my coaches and my teammates. So the only thing I could go out and do is play my hardest for the rest of the time I'm here.
We're under 2 minutes in this session for the student athletes. Is there anything else? All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Good job, as usual. We're going to stay here with Coach Greg Marshall for a while longer. Bob will have the first question.
Bob Lutz, Wichita Eagle. At times this season, three-point shootings have been perceived as maybe not a weakness, but something this team maybe wasn't as good at as other aspects. When you shoot like this, how gratifying is that, and how much more difficult do you become to beat?
Bob, I think when we're 8 for 10, and the 2 misses were late shot clock heaves in the first half. We were really 8 for 8, and the other 2 were just desperation, or we didn't execute, and we don't want to turn the ball over, so we tried a long shot. I think Ron did it once, and Takeo did it once. Obviously, we didn't shoot it well at the very end. We're 1 for 10 in the second half, but there's going to be a game at some point where you don't shoot it well. That's when you've got to have your defense and rebounding in your back pocket. And when we shoot it, we always talk about when we shoot it well, we're hard to beat. And if we can shoot it like this for as long as we can continue playing, we'll be a very, very tough out.
Greg, when's the last time you've called a timeout, and is that a good indication of just how well you guys are playing? Because you haven't called
that's
one.
That's a good question, Brian. You ask good questions. There haven't been any timeouts this year. I'm not sure we've called more than 2 all season. Bob, you would have to do some research on that. I think timeouts are a sign of weakness. I like to do my coaching before the game and in practice. Like to help them during the game, just give them a little structure, tell them what defense we're in, what out-of-bounds play we're running. And I like for my players to work out their problems, generally on their own. When I call a timeout, I don't have very much positive to say to them. So I bet we've played 33 games. I bet we haven't called 2 timeouts when we weren't I almost called a timeout today to sub and do one of those deals where you just turn it over and sub and keep playing, because I thought the guys at the end were getting tired. But no, I'm not a big proponent. Now, there are times when you need them, but thank goodness this year we haven't needed them that often.
Greg, on Cleanthony, his game seems to pick up when it gets the toughest. If you start counting tough road games and this tournament after last year's tournament, I mean, there's other circumstances, I realize, but he does seem to pick it up at the toughest moments. Is that what you've observed?
Yeah, he did last year. Played well in the Final Four. On the way to the Final Four, he was all whatever they call it, the all Final Four team. He made that. Did not play well here last year, but generally he plays well on the road, and away from home he plays a little better statistically. Maybe it's just focus. Maybe it's just he needs that external stimuli to get him going. Fans calling his name and his girlfriend's name and all of those things that they do on the road. So maybe that's a good thing.
Greg, James Dent with the Sports Exchange. Missouri State was really trying to milk clock, slow the tempo. The run you had in the first half by hitting those threes, how important was that to maybe go make Missouri State chase the game a little bit and quicken the pace?
It certainly loosens them up when we're hitting shots, because they do a very good job, as many teams in our league do. They make you beat them from the outside. I mean, these are good coaches in this league, and they collapse that defense around the post. They don't let you throw it in. They don't let you drive it in. So once you start making some shots, it kind of loosens them up. Now they've got to extend their defense a little bit, and then you get closeouts which you can penetrate, and maybe passing lanes that were not there previously are there. So I think it's monumentally important.
Bruce Ertl, KWCH. Greg, when you're rolling like you were in the first half, but even more in the second half, when you're putting the game pretty much out of reach, and your team is playing at such a high level, Missouri State has absolutely no answer for it. Do you find yourself even in that moment just every now and then saying, wow, this team can really get it going and can really be a fun group to watch?
Yeah, it's really a fun. You nailed it. It's a fun team to watch. It's a fun team to coach. It's a fun team to be around. I mean, who can find fault with 33-0? I mean, no, take that back. I know people find fault with 33-0. I don't. I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it the whole year. I've enjoyed recruiting these guys, getting to know their families, being around them, and it's just it's amazing that we're one game away from being done with the conference tournament. So it seems like this season has just flashed by in an instant, maybe 4 weeks instead of 3.5 months.
Left-hand side, Greg.
Hey, Greg, Pat 40 from Yahoo. Same question, I guess, for you that I asked the players about wanting to win a tournament that you all haven't won, and maybe the importance of that for y'all.
I want to win very badly, but I would want to beat you in cards if we dealt them tonight. So that's just the way I'm wired. I want to win this tournament. I want to win when I tee it up in a charity golf tournament this summer. But there is special meaning to winning this tournament, because chances are we could be back here in about 11 days. So may as well get used to it. As I said yesterday, I've had some good experiences in St. Louis lately. You know, we went to the Billikens and won against a very tough team in their home court, which they, at that point they were rarely losing at all there. And then I came for Game 4 of the World Series and had a beautiful afternoon. Had a great steak, went over and watched the game, and then Johnny Gomes hit a 3-run homer for my team. So it was nice. We enjoyed St. Louis immensely.
This question is from the podium, past the lights.
Jason Penske from NBC2 in Terre Haute. I know, Coach, you don't know who you're going to play all the way in the back. I know you don't know who you're going to play yet. Could you just talk about the challenge Jake Odom and the Sycamores would give you if you face them tomorrow?
Yeah, Jake's a tremendous player. He's one of the greatest players, probably in the top 5 in Indiana State history. I mean, we know who number 1 is, so being number 2 or 3 or 4, whatever he is wonderful. And he does a great job of doing exactly what Fred VanVleet does now. He orchestrates the game. I mean, when he's in control, and everybody else is just watching him orchestrate the game. And he did it as a freshman, and he's continued that throughout his career.
We're under 3 minutes to go, and next question's here on the left.
Bill Frieder, Westwood 1. Coach, how you doing?
Hello, Coach.
You know, when you played St. Louis earlier in Tennessee and some of them, and won some key road games, I started telling people that you were better than a year ago. And I know you lost some key components, Armstead, Hall, whoever. Why or what makes you better this year than a year ago?
It's amazing guys like you who obviously know the game very, very well, and Coach Knight, who was at our practice and at our games. They say the same thing, but there's those skeptics and naysayers that are out there that don't know a hill of beans about college basketball, that are saying, their schedule and who they played and this and that. I think you just have to watch and know what you're talking about. But I think it's the fact that we defend every possession. We play both ends. We really commit to defense and rebounding. And then we score it much better than we did last year's group. This group can score. This group has, people at the beginning of the year were playing off to Kel Cotton. They were trying to pick up their poison, and they weren't guarding him. Well, in the last couple of games, I think he was 3 for 4 or 2 for 4 or 3 for 5 yesterday from 3 and 3 for 4 today. So I hope they continue to not guard him. We've got a lot of weapons. Clee Anthony's obviously special. Fred orchestrates the game and can get to the rim and generally makes the right decision. And Ron Baker, he's kind of an X factor. He's not even up here. I think he will one day play in the NBA. So it's a pretty special group.
Final question is right here on the aisle.
How did you get to be a Red Sox fan?
My dad, living in South Carolina, Walter Marshall. When you're growing up in the 30s and 40s in South Carolina, there were no Orioles or Marlins or Braves, so you had to pick a team on the East Coast, and you either picked the Yankees or the Phillies, I guess, or the Red Sox. And he went with the Red Sox for whatever reason. I remember him talking about Johnny Pesky and Dom DiMaggio and Ted Williams and whatnot when I was a kid. He also liked the Celtics, and his team on the football side was the Redskins. So contrary to what my son did, he went the opposite. He picked my rival teams. I went with my dad's teams. A couple things. Number one, house cleaning. There's a nail right here that ripped my coat yesterday that we need to fix. I hope I'm here tomorrow. And secondly, it's Tequil. He's going to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated for the second time in 3 weeks. It's not tequila, it's Tequil, like the vegetable cotton. Thank you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow. but he's getting treatment. So Austin and Christian are here for the Bears, and head coach Paul Lusk. We're going to ask Paul to start off with a statement on the semifinal game. Then we'll go to questions for the two student athletes. Paul, please.
Well, they handled us. I thought we did some really good things the first half defensively. Thought we played about as well as we could from a defensive standpoint. Took away the interior, but they were 8 for 10 from 3 and just hit some unbelievable shots. And when they're rolling like that, they're going to be tough to deal with. It was 14 at half. We came out and got the first basket of the second half, cut it to 12. But they wore us down. I mean, they're terrific defensively. We couldn't score it. Obviously, we had some guys go down, but give them a lot of credit. It wasn't a whole lot of fun to sit through, but I think it'll be a good learning experience for our guys, and we've got to move forward.
Hey, questions for Austin or Christian? Start right down here. Lindell.
Lyndall Scranton from the Springfield News Leader. Austin, can you just talk about Wichita State's defense and what stands out the most about it?
They're just real physical. I think that causes a lot of problems. Getting open, running stuff, making cuts. So I think that's probably the biggest force I have on defense.
Left-hand side.
Don Luzader with KTTS in Springfield. Austin, you guys were behind 13-12 with 8:49 left in the half, and then they hit 5 3-pointers in a row. Just talk about how devastating that was, and then how tough they are offensively when they get into that groove.
Yeah, it definitely was a big blow to us. Me and Dorian had a miscommunication, and that kind of started it all off. And then I think Anthony hit a couple in a row. So it was a very devastating blow to us. And it's tough to stop, and they just keep hitting 3 after 3. And I think that open one just kind of started it all off.
Christian, when you lose Keith and Jamar both in the same game, what's that do to your team?
I mean, they're two pretty, two of our best guys. So when we see them go down, and they're two of our toughest guys, so it's pretty tough on us. But we still tried to stay together, and I think sometimes in the second half we played pretty good, and we tried to, at the beginning of the second half we tried to cut it down a little bit, but then they just opened it right back open, and that was pretty tough. But we never want to see any guys go down, much less Keith or Jamar.
Bruce Sortle, KWCH Wichita. Christian, I'm curious from your guys' perspective, how do you view this run that Wichita State is on, the attention that they've garnered, the national brand that they've now achieved? Can you just give us a sense from inside the family of the Valley of how that looks?
It's just a whole nother level. I mean, we've been trying to get there with our program in the past 2 or 3 years, and I think it just sets a standard for the whole Valley to, for someone to look up to. And they've played great, and they've gotten better every year, and the run that they've been on this year has been great, and it's just kind of something that we hope to get to one day, and something just to hope improve our program and kind of compare it to.
Right back here.
Yeah, for both Austin and Christian, your thoughts about possibly playing some more basketball in one of the tournaments in a couple of weeks.
Austin, you first, please.
It's always a great opportunity to play in the postseason. Really looking forward to the opportunity and getting a few more wins this season. It's how I think we're going to approach it and just go out and try to win every game.
Christian, same question.
We're looking forward to it. The past 2 years I've been here, we haven't played postseason, but I know when they won the CIT a couple of years ago that they ended up having a really good year next year, so I think it'll help improve our program, and we're all looking forward to it.
Paul Solentrop, Wichita Eagle. Christian, you've played against Wichita State 3 times now. How would you kind of describe them to maybe people who haven't seen them a whole lot? What's kind of their essence, or what makes them what they are?
They're just physical, and they stay together. They don't have many breakdowns, and every game they're going to bring their best and play physical, get every rebound, get on the floor every time, and it's hard to catch them off their guard, and because they're always on their guard, and they're just really physical, and they really stay together and play well defensively.
On the right-hand side, gentlemen.
R.B. Falstrom, Associated Press. Will this game be harder to bounce back from than other games, or do you just chalk it up to Wichita State being that good that you just move on to the next challenge?
Christian, you first, then Austin.
I mean, it's it's tough because it's the Valley Tournament semifinal game, and this my first time being here in the semifinals, and it's tough, but I think we're going to be able to move past it when we start looking forward to what we're going to go into in the postseason. And it's tough. It's tough sitting through, like Coach said, but I think it's something that I think Nate said in the locker room is something that we can remember that feeling and kind of feed off of it for the rest of the year and for into next year.
Yeah, we definitely have to bounce back. I don't think we just chalk it up to it being Wichita State because we competed with them at our place, and we feel like we can compete with anybody in the nation. So we just didn't play our best basketball today, but definitely going to use it as motivation for next year.
Anything else for the Bears? All right, gentlemen, you two can leave. Get your post-game snack. We'll stay here with Paul Lusk for a little bit. First question's right there on the aisle.
Coach, would you comment on their ability to hit you so quickly and ended up being two sustained runs today? But you can hang with them, then all of a sudden they hit you quickly, and it's tough to recover. It's been kind of an MO of theirs all year long. What makes it so difficult to answer that punch?
Well, they've got really good players, and they're well coached, but that's what we told our guys. You're hanging with them, you're hanging with them, you're hanging with them, and then all of a sudden it could be a 2-minute stretch and they rattle off threes like that, or they pound you inside, or they get some steals defensively. You have to have personnel that can really go at them. I thought we were really good early in the game, and we got some good looks. You have to make those shots. You have to make them to stay in the game, and we weren't making them, but we stayed in the game. Well, that's only going to last for so long. And then they shot it so well from three. We wanted to try keeping the ball out of the paint. When Jamar got hurt with his jaw, we were right there with the loose ball. We couldn't come up with it. Cleanthony early picked that up from his shoelaces in the dead corner and drilled the three. So they're really good. They really guard you. They can hurt you a lot of different ways. You have to have the physicality to match up with them. We weren't able to score on the blocks against them. So then you've got to try scoring on the perimeter or getting some in transition, and we just weren't able to do that.
Just your thoughts about playing some more ball and the opportunity.
It's good. We need it. Our season was over last year at this time. It's good moving forward. Our young guys, I thought that was really good. I left Devin and Tyler, not so much Austin, but they got exposed today by one of the best programs in the country. And we got to get better. And I think those guys will get better. It's good for the young guys. It's good for the seniors. I think the seniors will want to play. It's important that they come with the right mindset, so we're excited about it.
On the left, Paul.
Coach, Gavin came in there late in the first half and did some good things to at least temporarily get you back into the game.
Yeah, when Jamar went down, he opened it up. I think sometimes that can be deceiving. You say, well, Ron did some good things. He's 2 for 9 and Gavin's 2 for 8. But Gavin does open it up for you from an offensive standpoint and gives you some breathing room. But, if we're going to win or we're going to be more competitive with them, Ron can't be 2 for 9, Gav can't be 2 for 8. You got to make those shots. But I thought Gavin did do some good things. He's got to continue to work and improve, but I was pleased with his effort. He got 3 rebounds. He was 4 for 4 from the line. Cleanthony got away from him a couple times, but he was shooting the ball at a high level. Early was.
Anything else for the head coach of the Bears? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good luck in the postseason.